Good afternoon. சாப்பிட்டீங்களா? Is anybody here who's with hungry stomach? யாருன்னா பட்டினியா இருக்கீங்களா? இல்ல. Okay. So let's go into the emancipation of women. So emancipation of women is helping women to come out of the clutches of the prejudices and societal the way it looks. So they have to be given the due respect. So women emancipation started with giving them the right to remarry again. So this widow remarriage comes out of the cultural religious prejudices which was existing from the ancient times. Women, particularly widows, were not treated with respect or dignity or even with basic what we call human values. So Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar, one of the tallest social reformers, he was part of the Brahma Samaj and he started what? Sanskrit College. And in this Sanskrit College, he popularized his education to non-Brahmins. And also he brought the Western thought of education into the Sanskrit College so that students will be getting on scientific basis and the Western education in the Sanskrit College. So he was very instrumental in bringing the Hindu Remarriage Act of 1856 during the Lord Dalhousie's Governor Generalship. Lord Dalhousie. So Vishnu Sastri Pandit, who is also in the widow remarriage, he also started in 1850 Widow Remarriage Association 1850. They match the following. Many times they have asked in pairs. They also asked. So Vishnu Shastri Pandit Widow Remarriage Association. Professor Dond Keshava Karve. You see that he married a widow in example to others, and he opened the widows' home in Pune, and he set up the first women's university in Bombay in 1916. And in Madras Presidency, Veerasa Lingam Pantulu, he had set up similar widow remarriage association and also done a lot of social work in the reformation that he took for the widow remarriage. And others were Justice Mahadev Govind Ranade and Malabari. They also done many reform works. So Parsi reformer Malabari, so he was very much instrumental in raising the marriageable age of children, when through his efforts the Native Marriage Act of 1872 was brought into force, and according to this they have prohibited children of particular age from marrying. So the age of consent, minimum age, was made what? 1891 Age of Consent Act. Minimum age for girls was made 12 years and provided they attained puberty. They will be married off. Not before that. Not before the age of 12 or criteria is puberty. So in modern India, in 20th century, the government of India, British government, they had passed an act in Sharda Act of 1930, where marriageable age of girls was raised to 14 and boys was 18. And with this, you can see the Child Marriage Restraint Act of 1978, they raised the boys' age to 18 and girls' age to 21. Now, Modi government is, they're mulling to raise the age of girls and boys. I think girls, they wanted to make us what? Around 21 or 22. And boys, they wanted to make it around 24 or 25. But it has not been amended because the parent organization, RSS, is not letting to do that one. They are vehemently opposing because they say that our Hindu population will come down. If you marry later the age, then people will not marry. They cannot go for child. They cannot produce child, so that our population will go. Others will catch hold of it and they came. So there's a lot of debate going on, but government is willing to raise the age, but no decision has come yet. Then, if that comes, if Gandhi was today alive, he would have been behind bars under POXO Act. Yes or no? Gandhi was married at the age of 13. Hmm? Hmm? Child marriage. Gandhi. Good. So, women's education. So, education of women, we'll see that it started with J.E.D. Bethune. So, they started in the 1819. Earlier to that, Calcutta Juvenile Society, which was set up by the Christian Society of Calcutta. They started this education, particularly of women, in 1819. Later, in 1849, J.E.D. Bethune, they founded a school called Bethune School of Calcutta. And this movement of education, it bore the first fruit where women started to enroll into the school and they started to graduate from the school and went to the higher education. And this was a very big victory and fruit for this movement. Government of India in 1854, the Parliament of London had passed an Wood's Dispatch. And what do you mean by dispatch? Dispatch in கேள்விப்பட்டிருக்கீங்களா? The dispatch என்ன அர்த்தம்? Huh? Huh? இல்ல dispatchனாக்கா இது வெளியே அனுப்புறதா? வெளியீடு. Okay. ஒரு dispatch means set of official letters. Set, அதாவது it's not series of letters. The set of official letters. And this official letters is sent with a condition to implement. That means it comes with order. This order, they cannot what? Appeal, or they cannot restrain this order. They cannot stop this order. This implies that they have to obey and follow the official set of letters with order, command. That is called dispatch. So 1854, such that this dispatch was sent, and Charles Wood was the person, and they laid the emphasis on education, and for that a sum of rupees was allocated. In 1916, Professor Dom Keshava Karve, D.V. Karve, he was instrumental in setting Women's University in Bombay. And later, Pandita Ramabai Saraswati was very much instrumental in bringing Dufferin hospitals, where she propagated the idea, Lady Dufferin. So in 1888-89, she was instrumental in setting up the medical education for women. Her efforts was very much instrumental. Pandita Ramabai Saraswati's efforts, and later Lady Ramabai Ranade, wife of Justice Mahadev Govind Ranade. She also started to take up the Arya Mahila Samaj, which had worked for the women emancipation, education of women, and particularly medical education. Ramabai Saraswati was the person behind, with all her efforts, the first women's medical college in Delhi called Harding, Lady Harding Medical College, bore fruit. So education of women, it started with what? It started with the Christian Missionary Society, Juvenile, Calcutta Juvenile, so Female Juvenile Society. They wanted to educate the women. Then later, J.E.D. Bethune, they started what? Bethune School for the education, and it bore the first fruits that girls started to graduate from schools. Pandit Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar opened not less than 35 schools in Bengal for the education of women. 1914, women's medical service was started, particularly training nurses and midwives. What do you mean by midwives? Midwives. Yaar the midwives? Midwives என்ன அர்த்தம்? Mercy killers, sir. இப்போ நீங்க கிராமத்துல பாருன்னா மருத்துவச்சி இருப்பாங்க இல்லையா, பாட்டிங்க எல்லாம் அவங்க வந்து பிரசவம் பார்ப்பாங்க. அவங்க தேர்ந்தெடுத்த கை இருக்கும். இப்போ குடல் கல்லில சுத்தி இருக்கு, இல்ல கால் முன்னாடி வருது, அப்புறம் இருக்கும்போது காம்ப்ளிகேட்டட் பிரெக்னன்சிஸ். அதுல தேர்ந்தெடுத்து என்ன பண்ணுவாங்க, they'll try to help the pregnant women to deliver safely. So அதுக்கு வந்து சில மெடிக்கல் ப்ரொசீஜர்ஸ் எல்லாம் இருக்கு. they need not be doctors also. நீங்க ஹாஸ்பிட்டல் போறேன்னு வைங்க, இப்பெல்லாம் புதுசா ஐஸ்வர்யா இது அது மட்டும் எல்லாம் வந்துருச்சு. நார்மல் டெலிவரியை என்ன செய்யறாங்க, ஒரு பெரிய ஸ்கேமே இருக்கு. நார்மல் டெலிவரி, அதாவது கிறிஸ்டியன் ஹாஸ்பிட்டல்ஸ் தான் இன்னைக்கு விதிவிலக்குல கடவுள் பேரை சொல்லி எல்லாமே அக்ரோலியம் செய்யறாங்க. ஹாஸ்பிட்டல்ன்ற இது வந்து பெரிய இண்டஸ்ட்ரியா மாறிடுச்சு. அது எப்போ நேஷனலைஸ் பண்றாங்கன்னு வெயிட் பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கேன். ஹாஸ்பிட்டலும் எஜுகேஷனும். வாய்ப்பு இல்லை ராஜாவா. ஏன்னா திஸ் இஸ் வெரி இன்ஹியூமன், பிகாஸ் மெடிக்கல் அண்ட் எஜுகேஷன் திஸ் இஸ் பார்ட் ஆஃப் அவர் ஹியூமன் லைஃப். பெரிய தவறு நடக்குது ஹாஸ்பிட்டல்ல. எஸ் ஆர் நோ? ஆர்டினரி இஃப் யூ கோ டு சைல்டு பர்த், இன்னைக்கு என்னன்றாங்க, முதல்ல ப்ரீ நப்ஷியல் கவுன்சிலிங்னு சொல்லுவாங்க. அதாவது வெட்டிங் ஆகிறதுக்கு முன்னாடி கவுன்சிலிங். இப்போ ப்ரீ பிரெக்னன்சி கவுன்சிலிங் ஃபாதர் அண்ட் மதர்லாம் கோர்ஸ் எல்லாம் பண்ணணும். குட் பி. அப்போ எங்க பாட்டனார் முப்பாட்டனார் இவங்கெல்லாம் வந்து எப்படி பண்ணுவாங்க? கண்டிப்பா உங்க தாத்தா அவங்க தாத்தா முன்னாடி எல்லாம் வந்துட்டு குறைஞ்சது 10 இல்ல 15% இருப்பாங்க. இப்போ ஒத்த புள்ள வளர்க்கறது அவ்வளவு கஷ்டமா இருக்கு. அவங்க எல்லாம் எப்படி வளர்த்துருப்பாங்க? கரெக்ட்? நோ. பட் ஐ வில் ஆல்வேஸ் அட்வொகேட் minimum of 2 children. Always. It is not good for one. In a China where இப்போ 3 child policy, 1 childல இருந்து 3 child policy போயிட்டான் சைனா இப்போ. தெரியுங்களா உங்களுக்கு? அப்ப ஏன் உலகத்திலேயே அவங்க ரொம்ப ஸ்ட்ரிக்டா நார்ம் வச்சுட்டு இருந்தாங்க. இப்போ அவனே 3 child policy, ஹனிமூன் ஹாலிடே, அப்போ வேற எதுவும் கொடுத்துட்டு இருக்கான். இப்போ பிரெக்னன்சி ஹாலிடேஸ் யாரும் கொடுக்குறான். ஸோ யூ கேன் சி ஹாஸ்பிட்டல்ஸ் வென் தேர் வாஸ் இஷ்யூஸ், ஏன்னா அது சோஷியல் இஷ்யூ தான், பெரிய இஷ்யூ அது. நார்மல் பிரெக்னன்சி டெலிவரி நீங்க போறேன்னு வைங்க, ஒரு ஆர்டினரி ஹாஸ்பிட்டலுக்கு 35,000 to 40,000 முடிஞ்சிடும் நார்மல் டெலிவரி. ஆனா இந்த டெலிவரியை பேனை வந்து பூதாகரமாக்கி என்ன செய்யறாங்கன்னா, பெரிய பெரிய ஹாஸ்பிட்டலு இந்த இதுல 1,00,000 1,35,000 ஆக்குறாங்க. இதுல வேற என்ன புதுசா கொண்டு வந்திருக்காங்க, என்ன ஷூட்டு, பிறந்த குழந்தைய இந்த டேர்ட்டில் மாதிரி உட்கார வைக்கிறது, டார்டைஸ் மாதிரி, நத்த மாதிரி உட்கார வைக்கிறது, பட்டர்ஃப்ளை மாதிரி போட்டு என்னவோ போட்டு அதுக்கு ஒரு 25,000-30,000 போடுறது, அவங்களுக்கு ஒரு கிட்டு கொடுக்கறது, இதெல்லாம் போட்டு ஒரு 2 இருந்து ஒரு 2.5 லட்சம் ஆகும். அவங்க ஏன் இன்னொரு குழந்தைய பெற்றுக்க போறாங்க? இது ஒரு பெரிய பிசினஸ் ஆக்கிட்டாங்க. இன்னொன்னு பெருசா இதெல்லாம் காட்டிட்டு பெண்களை வந்து என்ன பண்றது, அவங்கள பயமுறுத்துது சைக்காலஜிக்கலா. இப்போ புதுசா ஏதோ இருக்கு, பிரெக்னென்ட் லேடிஸ் டெலிவரி ஆயிட்ட பிறகு அவங்களுக்கு சைக்காலஜிக்கலா இதாயிடுன்னு சொல்லி ஒரு பெரிய இஷ்யூ ஆக்கி, ஏன்னா இல்லாத பொல்லாதெல்லாம் இன்னைக்கு யாரும் முதல்ல காசிப் பண்ணுவாங்க பக்கத்துல தான். இப்ப மொபைல் போன் அது பெரிய ஈவல். ஏன்னா வித்வுட் வெரிஃபைங் தே புட் இன்ஃபர்மேஷன், அதை பார்த்தவங்க இன்ஃப்ளூயன்ஸ் ஆகும், அதிகமா ஆகுறாங்க. தவறான செய்திகளை நிறைய பரப்பி விட்டு சைக்காலஜிக்கலா அவங்க உடைச்சு விட்டுறாங்க. So you can see that British government that time, with the efforts of Pandita Ramabai Saraswati, also they brought this training of nurses and also midwives, because you require hospital support staff. Everywhere you cannot find doctors. So for certain instances, these people who know a little bit of medical education, they can be a support staff in treating certain conditions. So you can see that this efforts brought more results, that this helped to save more lives. Dondakeshwar Karve's 1916 Women's University is the first step for the women-only university education in Bombay. Later, Lady Harding Medical College, with the efforts of Lady Harding, they started this medical college. And its precursor was Dufferin. So Dufferin hospitals were started in 1888 to 1890s. and that led to the formation of Lady Hardinge College, and it was the first medical college in India is Lady Hardinge College, Delhi. So women's organizations. So Charles Wood Dispatch of 1854, it laid great emphasis for what? For female education, health facilities. So the opening of Dufferin hospitals in 1880s was a first big step in helping women to understand their women issues. So today, women issues are becoming very, very high. Yes or no? That is now almost 1 in 2 women, that means what, 50% and more women are suffering from the health issues, particularly periods issues. Yes or no? And hormonal issues, PCOS, polycystic ovary syndrome, polycystic ovary disease, infertility. Today, clinics are mushrooming like anything, and assistive reproductive procedure has reached such a way that it's an alarming bench, and government is not looking into that issues. The malpractice is done. So you can see that Pandita Ramabai Saraswati, she as a medical student, she couldn't complete a medical education because of her deafness. So she started during that time Arya Mahila Samaja. In that, she wanted to give medical education to women. Why? Because if she would have got proper education, if women were there, they would have understood the women issues. So she has a high caste Brahmin lady. She took her husband to many doctors. They did not treat for the illness of his husband. Finally, he died. So she wanted that men should also understand what are the issues women are facing, social issues. So improvement of medical education with syllabus on Indian women, what all Indian women are facing. Because earlier, all these doctors were Western educated and they do not understand the ground realities of Indian women. So as an Indian woman, and she is educated woman, she knows because she was a former medical student, she understands the value and the importance of doctors when they are studying education. They should also be given education on the issues, social issues, and other issues related to the women, in particular in Indians. The purpose of this Arya Mahila Society was to promote the cause of women education and deliverance from the oppression of child marriage. Why they fought child marriage? You can see that many young girls, they they when they need to enjoy the adolescence, the young age, they were made to carry a child. Certain times the child which is born is abnormal, underweight. This prenatal and postnatal cares are very, very important. In that, there is a lot of issues with this. And there were many miscarriages, and children who are young mothers die. So to arrest all these issues of, and moreover, children are not psychologically, they are not what you call at that age to accept another child. They themselves are child. Then if they are made to bear a child, that becomes a big psychological problem. That is why the reformers from 1850s onwards, they're very much opposing the child marriage, which was the biggest social threat and evil. So this Arya Mahila Samaj was very successful. Pandita Ramabai Saraswati. Later, this movement was helpful in starting what? Women's medical movement by Lord what? Dufferin. So Ladies Social Conference, Bharata Mahila Parishad 1904. It was done by Lady Ramabai Ranade, Justice Mahadev Govind Ranade's wife. So this Ladies Social Conference, Bharata Mahila Parishad, So where it is, Bharata Mahila Parishad? So it's a parent organization, is called National Social Conference. According to this National Social Conference, this organization wanted to work for the emancipation of women, to fight for two things. One, women should be given the right to vote, And also, women should get the right to what? Inheritance. What do you mean by inheritance? The property and other gold and other uh, valuables has to be given to women in equal proportion, or they should inherit the property if there is no male heir. So this Bharata Mahila Parishad Ladies Social Conference by Ramabai Ranade. Don't confuse Pandita Ramabai Saraswati and Ramabai Ranade. Both are different personalities, but both joined together in Arya Mahila Samaj. Why? Because Ramabai Ranade takes Ramabai Saraswati's organization to other part of Bombay and she opens it. Okay, but both the Ramabais are associated in Arya Mahila Samaja. Because in one competitive exam, they asked both of them, people got confused. Justice Ramabai, Justice M.G. Ranade's wife, Lady Ramabai Ranade, is associated with Arya Mahila Samaja, and which was originally founded by Pandita Ramabai Saraswati. Bharat Sri Mahamandal Allahabad, 1910, it was founded by Sarala Devi Chaudharani. And this Bharat Sri Mahamandal is the first major Indian women's organization. First major Indian women's organization which was set up by a woman. What are the objectives? Objectives of Bharat Sri Mahamandal is education of women, abolition of Parda system, improvement in the socio-economic and political status of all the women in India. Socio-economic and political status of all the women in India. Mary Bai Tata, Lady Mary Bai Tata, she founded NCW, National Council for Women in India, 1925. This National Council for Women in India had a branch. It's a branch of the International Council of Women, ICW. And this National Council for Women in India, their objectives, they were founded by Lady Mary Bai Tata in India. It has removal of Parda system. Why? Mary Bai Tata is a Parsi woman. You can see that Naroji Furdonji, Malabari, then Dadabai Naroji, they founded what? Mazdiasan Sabha. What? Rehunumai Mazdiasan Sabha. In that, major objective was removal of Parda. That means Parsi women was subjugated to such a inhuman conditions in the name of religion and tradition. So, Parsi woman, Mary Bai Tata, she fought for this, the evil practice of Parda system, caste differences, and also the lack of education and general equality in the other general in the Indian society. She fought for those. So recently, NCW was in Chennai for what issue? பெரிய போராட்டம் நடந்துச்சு ஆல் இண்டியா லெவல்ல. நம்ம நேபர் தான் நினைக்கிறேன் அவங்க கலாக்ஷேத்ரால. ஆனா நிறைய மூடி மறைச்சிட்டாங்க. ஏன்னா அவள் இன்வால்வ் ஆயிருக்கான்னு சொல்லிட்டு என்ன செஞ்சாங்க NCW வர வச்சாங்க. ஆனா அதுக்குள்ளே ப்ரெஷர் ஹோம் மினிஸ்ட்ரியில இருந்து ஆக்ஷன் எடுக்கக்கூடாதுன்னு சொல்லிட்டு எங்க ஊருக்காரன் ஒருத்தர் நாட்டுக்காரன் சந்தோஷ்ன்னு சொல்லிட்டு தெரியுங்களா? BN சந்தோஷ்ன்னு அவன் தான் பெரிய அயோக்கியன். நிறைய காரணம் இந்த மதம் போர் எல்லாம் வருது இல்லையா கர்நாடகா ஸ்டேட்ல நாட்டுல, அவன் தான் ஜெனரல் செக்ரட்டரி ஆஃப் பிஜேபி. அவன்கிட்ட கையை காலில் விழுந்து இவங்க 3 பேர்ல தப்பிச்சாங்க. இப்ப சீஃப் மினிஸ்டர் எதை எடுத்திருக்காங்க ஆக்ஷன்லாம் சொல்லி இது போட்டாங்க. பட் வேற ஏதாவது இஷ்யூ வந்து அப்படியே அது சப்ஸ்டைட் ஆயிடுச்சு. பெருசா இன்னும் பெரிய போராட்டத்துக்கு இல்லை. ஆனா ஃபர்ஸ்ட் டைம் இவ்வளவு பெரிய விமன் வந்து எல்லாருமே போராட்டல. ஒன் பீப்புள் ஒருத்தர் 2 பேர் சொல்றது இஷ்யூஸ் இருக்கு. ஆனா அவங்க கேஷ் கமிட்டி அவங்க பண்ணிருக்கணும். கமிட்டி அகேன்ஸ்ட் செக்ஷுவல் ஹராஸ்மெண்ட். போட்டிருக்கணும். அந்த இன்ஸ்டிடியூஷன்ல அது வெரி இம்பார்ட்டன்ட். ஆர்கனைசேஷன் ரூல்ஸ்ல அது இருக்கணும். சில டைம்ல காழ்ப்புணர்ச்சினால வெறுப்புனால சில பெண்களும் தவறா சொல்றதும் இருக்கு. ஆனா எல்லா இதுவும் தவறா சொல்லுவாங்கன்னா கிடையாது. அப்போ ஆண்கள் மேலேயும் சில தப்புகள் இருக்கு. இந்த செக்ஷுவல் இதுக்காக சுரண்டுதல் இருக்கு இல்லைங்களா, தட் இஸ் வெரி வெரி நாஸ்டி திங். அது அகெயின்ஸ்ட் இது. ஸோ யூ ஷுட் ரெஸ்பெக்ட் விமன் அண்ட் உங்களுக்கு முடியலன்னா நீ வெளியே போய்க்கும். யூ கே நாட் டேக் வல்னரபிள் செக்ஷன் ஆஃப் சொசைட்டி ஃபார் யுவர் ஓன் கிராட்டிபிகேஷன். அந்த இதனால ஸ்ட்ரிக்டஸ்ட் ஆக்ஷன் எடுத்து ஆகணும். நம்ம நாட்டுல வந்து அரபு மாதிரி கொண்டு வந்தாங்க அதான் கரெக்ட்னு தோணுது சில டைம்ல. ஏன்னா இந்த பாக்ஸர் சட்டம் வந்தா கூட என்ன நடக்குது, என்ன நடந்துச்சு? ஒரு சிறுமிக்கு ஆலயத்திலே வச்சு அவங்க எத்தனை பேர் பண்ணாங்க. நீதி கொடுக்குறீங்களே இந்த தவறா செஞ்சாங்க இல்லையா? காஷ்மீர்ல என்ன நடந்துச்சு? எஸ் ஆர் நோ? ஒரு மைனர் கேர்ள், ஒரு 7 வயசு 8 வயசு சிறுமிக்கு என்ன நடந்துச்சு? ஸோ இன் திஸ் வே இட் இஸ் தி how much ever we have gone for the reform movements or not, in the anadikam mentality of evil side of the men is more dangerous. So that means one, அப்பா அம்மா சரியா வளர்க்கலன்னு அர்த்தம். இல்லைன்னா அவங்க கூட இருக்கிறவங்க சுத்தி இருக்கிற நண்பர்கள் அவங்களை எப்படி இது தவறான இதுதான். எல்லா பையன்களும் தப்பா இல்லை, அந்த சூழ்நிலை அவங்கள மாத்துது. அந்த சூழ்நிலை யார் மாத்துறாங்க காரணம்? ஒண்ணு சொசைட்டி, இன்னொன்னு நம்மளே பிளேம் பண்ணணும். ஏன்னா we give an opportunity. At the same time, modesty in dressing in women is also important. நான் எப்படிதான் இருப்பேன்னாக்கா அதிகமான கிரைம்ஸுக்கு இன்வைட் பண்றதும் அதுவும் உண்மை. நிறைய ஸ்டடீஸும் சொல்லுது. அப்போ நீங்க கேட்கலாம், விமனுக்கு ரைட் இல்லையா? விமனுக்கு எல்லா ரைட்டும் இருக்கு. ஆனா என்ன சூழ்நிலை, எங்க இருக்கீங்க, அது நம்ம யோசிக்கணும். மாடஸ்டி இன் ட்ரெஸ்ஸிங். அப்போ ஆண்களுடைய கண்கள் இச்சையில போவாதா? இச்சைகளுக்காக பார்த்தா ஆகும். ஆனா நம்ம ஒரு ஆப்பர்ச்சுனிட்டி கொடுக்க கூடாது ஒரு தவறான போறதுக்கு. பட் விமன் ஹேவ் ஆல் த ரைட் டு டூ வாட் தே ஆர். தே ஹேவ் த ரைட் டு சூஸ், தே ஹேவ் த ரைட் டு நெக்லெக்ட், தே ஹேவ் ரைட் டு டிஸ்கார்ட். அதான் நம்ம நாடுடைய செகுலர் நாடு, பியூரிஸ்டிக் நாடு. எல்லாருக்கும் எல்லா சம உரிமையும் கொடுக்குது. பட் இட் ஆல் டிபெண்ட்ஸ் ஆன் வேர் வி ஆர், ஹவு வி ஆர் அண்ட் வாட் சிச்சுவேஷன் வி ஆர். Can a woman alone go walk in the street by 12 in the midnight alone? Is it safe? முடியுமா? ஆண்களே நடக்க முடியாது இப்போ. அதான் நிலைமை. ஏன்னா டெல்லியில ஒரு சம்பவம் நடந்துச்சு. தெரியுங்க என்ன சம்பவம்னு? ஒரு 6 மாசத்துக்கு முன்னாடி. தெரியாதுங்களா? ஒரு ஆணை 4 பெண்கள், ஹை காஸ்ட், அதாவது ஹை கிளாஸ் விமன், யங் கேர்ள்ஸ், இந்த ஆளை கொண்டு போய் 4 பேரும் ரேப் பண்ணி அந்த ஆளை அவனுக்கு கண்ணை கட்டி சித்திரவதை செஞ்சு அவனுக்கு ரோட்ல தூக்கி போட்டு ஒரு நாளுக்கு அப்புறமா வந்தாங்க. இப்ப நீங்க சொல்லுங்க, இப்ப எந்த நாட்டுல நம்ம இருக்கோம்? எல்லாம் ஹை கிளாஸ் விமன். அந்த கேஸ் வரும்போது ஒரு பெரிய பொலிட்டிஷியன் டாக்டர் உள்ள இருக்குன்னு சொல்லுதுமே, அப்படியே மூடிட்டாங்க கேஸ். அவன் போய் கம்ப்ளைண்ட் கொடுத்தான், என்ன ரேப் பண்ணாங்க, கட்டாயப்படுத்தினாங்க. நான் போய் சொல்ல வேணாம், நீங்க போய் பாருங்க டெல்லியில நடந்த சம்பவம். டெல்லியில நாங்க இருந்திருக்கோம். அதனால பல வருஷம் குப்பை கொட்டிருந்தாலும் அந்த டெல்லி எனக்கு சுத்தமா பிடிக்காது. பல பேர் நிறைய டீச்சர்ஸ்க்கு பிடிச்சிடும், ஆனா எனக்கு செட் ஆகும். ஏன்னா டெல்லி இஸ் a dead city, tomb city. அர்த்தம் என்ன தெரியுமா? டூம் சிட்டின்றது எல்லா ராஜாக்களுடைய என்ன சொல்றது, கல்லறைக்கு அங்கதான் இருக்கு. இந்த பிரைம் மினிஸ்டர், காந்தி, எல்லா சமாதி அங்கதான் இருக்கு. பெருசா ஒண்ணும் கிடையாது. அது ஏன் தலைநகரம் வச்சாங்கன்னு தெரியாது. பெருசா ஒண்ணுமே இல்லை. எக்ஸ்ட்ரீம் ஹாட், எக்ஸ்ட்ரீம் கோல்டு. ஃபுட்டு சரியில்லை. நம்மள போனா என்ன, கருப்பா பார்த்தாலே இவங்க திருட்டு பசங்க, இவங்கெல்லாம் தாழ்த்தப்பட்ட மக்கள், இந்த மாதிரி ஒரு மென்டாலிட்டி. நம்மளாம் என்னது, we are dark skin means they think that we are not what you call neat enough, we don't take bath, we don't follow civic இதெல்லாம். முட்டா பசங்க தெரியல. So these issues are concerning men and women, the youth. How we are addressing? Government is not addressing. இப்போ பெரிய பிரச்சனை தானே, ட்ரக் அபியூஸோட இருக்கு. இங்கே எத்தனை பேர் அபியூஸ்ல இருக்காங்கன்னு உங்களுக்கு தெரியும். ஹாஸ்டல் ரூமுக்குள்ளேயே தெரியும் என்னென்ன செய்யறாங்கன்னு. கொஞ்ச நேரம் விட்டாக்க நீங்க எல்லா ஓப்பன் பார்ட்டி, பாய்ஸும் சரி கேர்ள்ஸும் சரி. இதுதான் உண்மை. ஏன்னா ஏறக்குறைய ஒரு 19 ஆண்டுகளா நான் கவுன்சிலிங்ல இருக்கேன். அதனால எனக்கு நிறைய இருக்கும். கன்ஃபெஷன்ஸ்லாம் சொல்ல மாட்டேன். நான் சாமியார் கிடையாது. திருட்டு பசங்க சாமியார் அவங்க கன்ஃபெஷன் வர்றதெல்லாம் வெளியே சொல்லிடுறானுங்க. அதுவும் இல்லாத கேரளால போற ரெண்டு வருஷத்துக்கு முன்னாடி 4 பாதருங்க பெண்களை வந்து யூஸ் பண்ணி இது பண்ணானுங்க. இப்போ கூட கன்னியாகுமரியில ஒருத்தர் பிடிச்சாங்க கொஞ்ச நாளைக்கு முன்னாடி. ஆண்டோன்னு சொல்லிட்டு திருட்டு பையன். இவங்கெல்லாம் என்ன சொல்றது? இவங்களுக்குலாம் என்ன தெரியுமா பண்ணணும்? ஃபர்ஸ்ட் இந்த கேபிளை கட் பண்ணி தான் வெளியே உள்ள அனுப்பணும் சாமியாருக்கு. கரெக்ட், அப்படிதான். நான் கேத்தலிக்பா, நான் மேஜர் செமினரி நான் டீச் பண்றேன். என்னுடைய இது வந்து 2ஆம் 3ஆம் நூற்றாண்டு வரலாறு. அந்த வரலாற்றை எடுக்கும் பொழுது நான் பேட்ராலஜி எடுக்கிறேன். ஸோ எனக்கு தெரியும் இந்த மென்டாலிட்டி என்ன ஏதுன்னு சொல்லிட்டு. அதுக்கு கேட்காதீங்க சார், நீங்க தான் மடத்துக்கு போயிட்டு வந்தீங்க ஓடி வந்தீங்களான்ட்டு. இல்லை, நான் கிடையாது. ஏன்னா இந்த எக்ஸ் பிரீஸ்ட் எக்ஸசைஸ் பார்த்தாலே எனக்கு பார்த்தாலே பிடிக்காது. ஏன்னா அவங்க தான் திட்டு பசங்க. ஜோசப் ஸ்டாலின், இந்த ஹிட்லரு, இந்த இவங்க எல்லாமே அதே கோஷ்டிங்க தான். உள்ள போயிட்டு எல்லாமே வந்துடுறாங்கன்னா உலகத்திற்கு ரிலிஜனை படிக்கிறானுங்க. அதான் பெருசா என்ன ஆனாங்க, ஏத்திஸ்ட் ஆயிடுறானுங்க. மனுஷன் நேசிக்கிறதுல பொண்ணு ஆரம்பிச்சிடுறாங்க. அதுல இதெல்லாம் பண்றானுங்க இவங்க எல்லாம். ஸோ யூ கேன் see that these people half-baked truth with half-baked knowledge are very dangerous to the society. Those who are in the garb of holy robes are very dangerous today. Whether you wear saffron, you wear white or cream or green or blue, all robes have become what? Today, they have become dangerous to the society. Yes or no? இன்னைக்கு நீங்க சாக்ஷி மகாராஜ் போய் பாருங்க. பார்லிமெண்ட் நீங்க பாக்குறீங்க, ப்ரொசீடிங்ஸ் பார்லிமெண்ட் பாக்குறதுல நீங்க பாருங்க என்னென்ன பேசுறாங்க. சாக்ஷி மகாராஜன் யார் பாத்தீங்களான்னாக்கா, நாங்கெல்லாம் வந்து துறவிங்க. துறவிக்கும் அரசியலுக்கு என்ன சம்பந்தம்? சாத்வி யாரு மாட்டினாங்க இல்லையா, அம்மா பிரக்யா தாக்கூர். அது நம்ம பண்ற வன்முறைய, அது வாயை திறந்தாலே வன்முறை தான். ஏன்னா இந்த மாலையில குண்டு வெடித்து அது பெரிய சம்பந்தப்பட்டது. அந்த மாதிரி ஏறக்குறைய ஒரு 10-15 துறைங்க இருக்காங்க. ஏன் இந்த மொட்டை சாமி இருக்காப்ல ஆதித்யநாத், யோகி. அவன் யோகி கிடையாது, அயோக்கிய. அவனுக்கு இல்லாத ப்ரொடெக்ஷன் அண்ட் த அட்ராசிட்டிஸ் he has created. நீங்க இன்னைக்கு ஹையஸ்ட் காஸ்ட் அட்ராசிட்டிஸ் இன்னைக்கு நாட்டுல எங்க நடக்குதுன்னா உத்தரப்பிரதேஷ்ல. ஹத்ராஸ்ல எத்தனை முறை நடந்திருக்கு? அன்னைக்கு போராட்டம் பண்ண மக்களை வண்டி ஊத்தி ஏத்தி கொன்னவொன்னு திரும்பி எலக்ட் பண்ணி அவனுக்கு இன்னும் மந்திரி பதவிக்கு கொடுத்து வச்சிருக்காங்க இல்லையா உத்தரப்பிரதேஷ்ல. ரொம்ப கொடுமை இருக்கு. அவங்க தாக்கூர்ஸுடைய கொடுமை ரொம்ப அதிகம். ஒரு பக்கம் தாக்கூர், ஒரு பக்கம் ஜாட்டு. ஆனா வல்னரபிள் பீப்புள் பகுஜன் சமாஜ் கட்சி இருந்ததுனால கொஞ்சம் இது போச்சு. இன்னைக்கு இட் இஸ் லாட் ஆஃப் கியாஸ். இதுலயும் புதுசா ஒரு கூட்டம் வந்திருக்கு, சூத்ரா சங்கீஸ். கேள்விப்பட்டிருக்கீங்களா? கேள்விப்பட்டல. தாழ்த்தப்பட்ட மக்களே இந்த சங்கி ஐடியாலஜி ஏற்று இன்னைக்கு தமிழ்நாட்டுல பெரிய கோஷ்டி குதிட்டு இருக்கு. யாரு? நம்ம அர்ஜுன் சம்பத் மாதிரி ஆட்கள். So you can see that neither they are used for the society nor they are useful for their humanity. Such people trying to impose the patriarchal mindset. So that is why you can see that Mary by Tata was very instrumental in bringing this NCW. The work she has done in 100 years ago, today you can say at least some commission is there for women. Otherwise, it would have been only what? Male-dominated, chauvinistic judiciary and law enforcement agencies. So Mary by Tata, because she was from Parsi, she had undergone that injustices, particularly wearing parda system, following the rituals, the male chauvinist hegemony, and all those things, these women started to break and come into the mainline. So AIWC, All India Women's Conference, This is very important because it was the first organization in India with an egalitarian approach. What do you mean by egalitarian? இந்த வார்த்தையே இந்த வார்த்தைக்கு அர்த்தம் என்ன? egalitarian. ஒரு உயர்ந்த சமூகம். உயர்ந்த சமூகத்துல என்னென்ன மாதிரி யோசனைகள் இருக்கும்? ஒரு உயர்ந்த சமூகம் எப்போ நம்ம சொல்லுவோம்? egalitarian சொசைட்டி எப்போ சொல்லுவோம்? எந்த இடத்துலயும் பாகுபாடு இல்லை, அதாவது வேற்றுமை, ஏற்றத்தாழ்வு, எல்லாரும் சமம், எல்லாருக்கும் கல்வி உண்டு, எல்லாருக்கும் அவங்களுடைய உரிமை உண்டு, எல்லாரும் ஒரே இடத்துல உட்கார்ந்து ஒரே இதுல பார்த்து அனைவருக்கும் எல்லாருக்கும் வணங்க உரிய ஒரு சமூகம் தான் உயர்ந்த சமூகம். தட் இஸ் கால்ட் egalitarian society. ஸோ இந்த egalitarian society வரணுன்றதுக்காக ஒரு பெரிய லேர்ன்ட் விமனை மேல் டாமினேட்டட் சிச்சுவேஷன்ல இவங்க எல்லாம் வராங்க. யார்? மார்கரெட் கசின்ஸ், மகாராணி சின்மாபாய் கேக்வாட், ராணி சாஹிபா ஆஃப் சாங்லி, சரோஜினி நாயுடு, கமலா தேவி சட்டோபாத்யா, and Lady Dorab Tata. All these women, Margaret Cousins, Maharani Chinmabai Gaikwad, Rani Sahiba of Sangli, Sarojini Naidu, Kamala Devi Chattopadhyaya, Lady Dorab Tata. This Sarojini Naidu, when she became the member of this, prior to this in 1925, she was the second woman president of INC. Who? Sarojini Naidu. And prior to that, we can see 1917, you can see Annie Besant was the first woman. And Sarojini Naidu was second woman, first Indian origin person to become INC president. So they worked for what? They worked for the emancipation of women. First thing, they worked for the society which is there. Its principles based on social justice, integrity, equal rights, and opportunities. So All India Women's Conference, AIWC, they have worked for the emancipation of women, particularly social justice. Why this term social justice comes? ஏன் இந்த social justice வந்துச்சு? ஏன்னா the impact of the Madras Mahajan Sabha and also the South Indian Liberal Federation Justice Party movement, they all played a very big role in emancipation of women. They took the rights. So you can see that this Justice Party movement also supported the Madras Justice Party movement, supported the Mysore anti-Brahminical agitation. And in that way, they took this, they were the precursors, they influenced many agitations all over the country. So they wanted equal rights and opportunities, integrity. So you can see they wanted to secure what? All the essentials of life should be given to every human being. And they also were against this caste. They said that the human beings, the essentials of life, not determined by accident or birth, but it is a planned social distribution. Yes or no? Caste system is a planned social distribution. Do you believe? Do you accept? Caste system is a planned social distribution. Yes or no? Yeah, now you can see that prior to the arrival of this caste system or Brahminical Aryan classification of people or the based of Varna, there are in Indians, particularly Tamil society, it did not have such classification. Every community married each another. We have kings who married many different community women as their queens. And they were what they called inter-community marriages. Caste system was not predominant. So you can see caste system brought by this Aryan, they carefully segregated for their own position and power and authority. So that is why the All India Women's Conference, they are chiding the the Brahminical system for bringing injustice to the people of the country and also to women, where everybody should get equal opportunity, equal rights. And also they said that it is the the essentials of life is today not determined by the accident of birth or sex. It is a planned social distribution. So they fighting for the justice, particularly social justice. So consider the UPSC question. For 2 years, question asked, like they have asked. Bharat Sri Mahamandal, Sarala Devi Chaudharani, Ladies Social Conference, Mary by Tata, Arya Mahila Samaj, Pandita Ramabai Saraswati, National Council for Women in India, NCW, Ramabai Ranade. Which all the statements are correct? First statement, Bharat Sri Mahamandal, Allahabad, 1910, Sarala Devi Chaudharani. Correct or wrong? Correct. Ladies Social Conference. Ladies Social Conference, Mary by Tata or Lady Ramabai Ranade. So that means this is wrong. Arya Mahila Samaj, Pandita Ramabai Saraswati, yes. In this Arya Mahila Samaj, Ramabai Ranade is also involved. National Council for Women, NCW, which is from the International Women's Council, is Mary by Tata. That means they have interchanged Ramabai Ranade and Mary by. So 4 is wrong. So 1 and 3. What is the answer? What is the answer? A. Answer panna mudida? Is it clear? Answer is Sarala Devi Chaudharani. She started Bharat Sri Mahamandal, and Sarala Devi believed that man working for women's upliftment is like living under the shade of Manu. That is why women themselves took the mantle of fighting for their rights, and emancipation of women started for their own progress. Ramabai Ranade, Ladies Social Conference, Bharata Mahila Parishad, and she is also associated with Arya Mahila Samaj, where she established a Arya Mahila Samaj of Ramabai Saraswati's organization in Bombay. The NCW was founded by whom? Mary by Tata, National Council of Women, which is also International Council of Women's branch. In this, one important thing is that Keshav Chandra Sen, the daughter, the young girl was married to the Raja of Kuch Bihar. She, Maharani Sacharu Devi, daughter of Keshav Chandra Sen, Kuch Bihar, she plays a role in NCW later. So you can make a mention. Later, I will send the notes. Okay. So finally, you can see that the Kamalabai Sathurpadya, Lady Dora Tata, Rani Sahiba, Maharani Chinmabai, and Margaret Cousins, Sarojini Naidu, all they found this All India Women's Conference, AIWC. So role of women. So role of women in freedom struggle. We can see that women, when they participated, it became a national movement. Yes or no? 1903, Lord Curzon, he wanted to partition the Bengal province because it was the cradle of Indian, what he called awakening and resistance to British rule. So because of the national uprising there, he wanted to break that national uprising. So when he planned to divide the Bengal on linguistic lines and religious lines, people from all of the country, they opposed this idea, and women participated to the call of particularly the extremists who wanted women to participate. So women came in large numbers and they followed the Swadeshi and boycott movements at the time of the 1905. But from 1903, women started to come in large numbers. The Swadeshi and boycott is the first mass movement in India. So first mass movement in India. Second mass movement is the Home Rule movement. Home Rule movement. The third mass movement started with the arrival of Gandhi. That is called Gandhian movement is the world's largest mass movement. And Gandhi was able to bring masses of people through his new kind of politics, which India never witnessed earlier. So role of women, now you can see in Home Rule, Tilak and Annie Besant, they go against the wishes of the Congress party and they start the Home Rule movement. In this, many women started. Sarojini Naidu, one of the tallest leaders, she's called the Nightingale of India. She became the Congress president in 1925. Later, in 1947, when India got independence, she was appointed the first governor of United Provinces in northern India. The caste-based exploitation, many people worked, particularly Brahmo Samaj worked, Pratana Samaj worked, Arya Samaj worked, Ramakrishna worked, Theosophical Society. If you all see that all defended Chaturvarna, they said we should abolish what we will work against untouchability. But in fact, they kept the Chaturvarna, four-fold classification of Varnashrama Dharma system. They never worked for the eradication. And who gave the call for the total eradication of caste system in India? Mahatma Jyoti Phule or Jyoti Ram Phule. So he was the first personality to give caste-based. So the principle, why they wanted. So you can see that the principle of liberty, equality, and freedom of movement all came. And in 1937, when Congress government was elected in the provinces, they also did a useful work in the upliftment of depressed classes, because the work of Baba Sahib Ambedkar and also a realization came in the Congress, in one faction of Congress. That is why this Congress was also taking up few things. Prior to that, we can see round table conference, Ramsay MacDonald used what? Communal award. So Gandhi opposes tooth and nail. So Gandhi in Yerwada jail, he goes for pastime to death. Hearing the death of Gandhi, Dr. Ambedkar goes, fearing for that death life, the poor old man's life, he made that compromise. He went to Gandhi. And who was the person who signed the Pune Pact? Madan Mohan Malaviya, and on behalf of Gandhi, they signed this Pune Pact, where in Yerwada jail, the Ambedkar had climbed down from separate electorates for different classes to reservation for the depressed classes in constituencies wherever they are finding a good number of them, and also they'll be getting reservation in various other jobs and other things. So this Gandhiji, after this Pune Pact, when he came out, he started All India Harijan Sangh. Though Gandhiji called these untouchable Dalits and oppressed classes as people of God, Harijan means people of God, he never intended, even Gandhiji has the mindset of what? Keeping the depressed classes in the subjugation mode of in the discriminative classification of people on Varna. So lower caste movement. So lower caste movement started when the upper caste movement, which they started in 19th century, they worked for the lower caste, but they condemned caste system untouchability. They gave only lip service. They never did any substantial work to eradicate this or fight tooth and nail for the injustice. So what happened? Now, in the 20th century, who took that? In the 19th century itself, Mahatma Phule, he started that work. Later, in 20th century, lower caste themselves took the onus of working for the welfare of the lower caste people. So you can see that first among important, this one was Justice Party and Tandai Periyar. So Tandai Periyar is one among the tallest, what he called social reformers, who even UNESCO has accepted him as the father of Indian social reformers. யுனெஸ்கோல இன்னைக்கும் அவருக்கு பெரிய பேர் இருக்கு. He stands the tallest. நீங்க நார்த் இந்தியால போனீங்கன்னா பகுஜன் சமாஜ் கட்சியிலாகட்டும் மற்ற கட்சியில தந்தை பெரியாருடைய பெரிய அவருடைய உருவம் எப்பவுமே இருக்கும். Because of the work that he has done. And who is he? So his full name is Erode Venkatappa Ramaswamy. So he was born in 1879 and he was from the Kannada speaking family in Erode. இன்னைக்குமே அதிகமான கன்னடா ஸ்பீக்கிங் பீப்புள் ஆர் தேர், பர்டிகுலர்லி இந்த ஈரோடு மாவட்டத்தில் சத்தியமங்கலத்துக்கு தாளவாடி இந்த கிராமத்துகள் எல்லாமே அந்த ரேஞ்சில் நிறைய பேர் இருக்காங்க ஈரோடு ஸ்பீக்கிங். ஸோ யூ கேன் சி தந்தை பெரியார்ஸ் ஃபாதர் வெங்கடப்பா நாயக்கர். ஸோ ஹிஸ் மதர் சின்னத்தாயி, they are from a very affluent family, வணிகர்கள். So Ramaswamy, that is Tandai Periyar, whose name is Erode Venkatappa Ramaswamy, he was married at the age of 19. Good. At least Gandhi married at the age of 13. இவர் போக்ச சட்டத்திலிருந்து விடுதலை கிடைச்சிருக்கும் இப்ப இருந்தா. So அவங்களுடைய ஃபர்ஸ்ட் அம்மா நாகம்மை, she was also there in very famous agitations. So she died, but they didn't have any children. But a child was born, but it died in 5 months. So in 1970s, 1930s, he married his private secretary, who's nearly half of his age, because Tandai Periyar felt that only a companion who's very close can take forward his ideology to the next generation. So Erode Venkatappa Ramaswamy, Tandai Periyar, was one of the tallest social reformers. So he started these two movements called self-respect movement and the Dravida Kazhagam. So today he is known as Pagutha Arivu Tandai, the father who had what? Who had sown the seeds of rationalistic thinking and also self-respect. And even at the ripe old age of 95, the day before he died also, he was going and talking about rationalistic things and awakening the people. So you can see that Tandai Periyar is a polyglot. He is very proficient in his mother tongue, Kannada, Telugu, and Tamil, apart from English and other languages. So he has been conferred the title Periyar when in 1938, a conference was held in Madras, Women's Conference, Tamil Nadu Women's Conference. In that year, in 1938, he was given the title called what? Periyar, under the presidentship of Neelambigai Ammiyar, the daughter of Maraimalai Adigal. So you can see a veteran scholar, Dharmambal, she gave the title Periyar to him, and Periyar means noble soul, great soul, the respected, the elder. So Tandai is the title which is given for him as father. So there was one incident in Tandai Periyar's life, it is called the Kasi pilgrimage event. In 1904, as a young man, he had gone to Kasi. Where is Kasi? Varanasi, number G Ude constancy, MP. So there he witnessed begging and floating dead bodies. Even myself has seen that one. சொன்னலையா நான் எதிர்த்தாரோ எல்லாம் போனோம். நம்ம பாவங்கள்லாம் கழுவப்படன்னு சொன்னாங்க. கங்கையில் முக்கியம் தான். நம்ம தான் நிறைய பாவம் பண்ணியிருக்கோமே. போய் முக்கியம் தான் நம்ம பாவம் போய் பார்த்தோம். பார்த்துட்டு இதுல முக்கியம் தான் நம்ம பாவம் இன்னும் அதிகமா தான் ஆகும்னு சொல்லிட்டு வந்துட்டோம். ஏன்னா அவ்வளவு கிளீனா இருந்துச்சு, கண்ணாடி மாதிரி இருந்துச்சு தண்ணி. So we can see that when Tandai Periyar went to Kasi, he saw in Kasi that in Kasi Vishwanatha temple, that people were made for begging, floating dead bodies, and one particular incident in Kasi had very profound in what you called imposed on the mind of Tandai Periyar that how caste system is nasty. So he was a member later of Congress party. This membership of Congress what made Tandai Periyar a radical and a militant atheist. So when he joined Congress, he was attracted towards the Gandhian ideology that he, when after the Congress, before joining, he was a member of the Erode municipality. So he used to, what you call, spread the ideal of the Swadeshi, the Khadi movement, and he also supported the picketing of shops. What do you mean by picketing? You will take a placard and say to the buyer who comes to a shop, please don't buy this. It is not made in India. It is not, it is all a blood of our brethren, weavers. Please don't buy this product. It is against India. They're not paying taxes. So you will refrain a prospective buyer from buying a product. So Periyar, so he was made everyone to shed away the foreign made clothes and also began to wear khadi. So he also forced all his members of his family, even the elderly mother also, to wear khadi dress only. So he was arrested on the call of Gandhi's non-cooperation movement in southern India. So in 1931, you can see that Periyar was court arrested for picketing against what? The country-made liquor shops. Enna kada? Kallu kadai. So you can see that during the anti-liquor campaign, he cut down 1,000 trees in his own farm because Tandai Periyar comes from a wealthy family. And later, his agitation led other women also to go and fight for the total prohibition of liquor. இப்போ புதுசா தமிழ்நாடு கவர்மெண்ட் ஒரு இது பண்ண ஆர்டர் என்ன ஆர்டரு மேரேஜ் ஹால்ஸ்லயே நாங்க டோட்டலா ஃபுல்லா டாஸ்மாக் சப்ளை பண்றோம் அது அந்த ஆர்டரை பின்னாடி வாங்கிட்டாங்க பெரிய பப்ளிக் அவுட்க்ரை வந்ததுமே கவர்மெண்ட் வாங்கினாங்க 2 ஆர்டர் வாங்கினாங்க திரும்பி ஒன்னு வந்து 12-hour ஒர்க் ஸ்கெட்யூல் ஃபார் 4 days அப்ப ரெண்டாவது ஆர்டர் தி லிக்கர் ஏன்னா அவங்க என்ன சொல்லி ஒன் ஆஃப் தி பாலிசிஸ் மேனிஃபெஸ்டோல we'll also bring this policy of cutting down this liquor the டாஸ்மாக் இவங்களே இது போய் திரும்பிய போட்டிருக்காங்க அப்போசிஷன்ல இருந்து வெளியே அவங்களுக்கு பிரசன்ட் கவர்மெண்ட்டுக்கு பெரிய நெருக்கடி கொடுத்தாங்க ஸோ நவ் தே ஹவ் டேக்கன் பேக் நேற்று நம்ம தமிழிசை கவர்னரா இல்ல பொலிட்டிஷியனா தெரியாது அவங்க இன்னும் பிஜேபி பிரசிடென்ட் மட்டும் ஆக்ட் பண்றாங்க அவங்க வந்து கவர்மெண்டுடைய பாலிசிஸை வந்து கிரிட்டிசைஸ் பண்ணியிருக்காங்க அது கவர்னருக்கு உடைய விதி மீறல் அது அண்ட் என்னன்றாங்க கவர்னருக்கு கருத்து உரிமை உண்டு இருக்கு நீங்க பேசாம நீங்க ரிசைன் பண்ணிட்டு இதுல பார்ட்டி பாலிடிக்ஸ்ல வந்தாக்க கருத்து உரிமை உண்டு கவர்னருடைய வேலை என்ன you are in a place where you need to keep secular credentials and non-partisanship அவங்க வந்து பார்ட்டி பாலிடிக்ஸ் பேசுறாங்கன்னா then why they held a sitting in the gubernatorial post என்ன பண்றது so you can see that so today's governorship and governors have become a talk of the town and now the role of governor has been questioned more than ever என்ன சொன்னாங்க நாட்டுக்கு தாடியும் நாட்டுக்கு கவர்னர் எதுக்குன்னு கேட்டாங்க எஸ் or no நாட்டுக்கு தாடி என்ன பண்ண போகுது what does a beard of a goat help the goat for what purpose no purpose similarly he also criticized that the governor position stands no purpose because elected representative role chief minister has more role to play than the governor today of late governor's position has become a tool of central government to bring their own agenda and implement through governor so you can see Tandai Periyar started to see a lot of discrimination in when he joined the Congress party. In 5-6 years, he got disillusioned. So Periyar made his last attempt by getting Tamil Nadu Congress to pass a resolution, particularly regarding the communal representation at a conference in Kanjipuram in 1925. So that time, Thiruvuka was the president of the Congress of Tamil Nadu Congress, and sensing the opposition in open session, he did not permit. He played politics, and Periyar was what was not led to pass a resolution. In the utter disgust, Thandai Periyar left Congress. And other incident, what fueled Congress, what made Thandai Periyar to leave Congress is that he had public meetings on the question of communal representation, which is forced on the government to pass an order by which Brahmins, non-Brahmins, Christian, Muslims, and depressed classes were assured of proportionate representation in public offices. That means what? Government jobs and government positions. But you can see later this was not honored. In this year, you might get Vaikom Satyagraha question. In a centenary, Chief Minister of both the states, Tamil Nadu and Kerala, they started. எங்க இந்த வைக்கம் எந்த இடத்துல இருக்கு? The lake வெம்பநாடுன்னு இருக்கும். 2 district பிரிக்குது. One is Anapura district, Alapi district, other one is Kottayam district. அந்த கோட்டயம் டிஸ்ட்ரிக்ட் ஸ்டார்டிங்ல வர அந்த லேக் தான் வைக்கோம் ஏரியா. அந்த இடத்துல என்ன நடந்துச்சு? There was a road near this Shiva temple. அந்த ரோடு வந்துட்டு இந்த தாழ்த்தப்பட்ட மக்கள் யூஸ் பண்ண முடியாது. இதற்கு பெரிய எதிர்ப்பு இருந்துச்சு. யார் இதுக்கு முதல்ல நின்னாங்கன்னா, it was the K. Madhavan and Kesava Menon and George Joseph. 3 பேர் தான் இந்த மக்களுக்காக போராடினாங்க. Because untouchables cannot even walk the street where the temple is there. Such was the caste hegemony. So a Kerala committee was formed of different members. It was chaired by Kelappan. In this, you have P.K. Madhavan and Velayuda Menon, Purur Neelakandan Nambudripad, and T.R. Krishna Swami Iyer. Even Gandhiji came, and Gandhiji was in Nala politics and Dipitapla, the Vaikom Satyagraha. So even Sri Narayana Guru also participated. So Periyar, when he came, he took forward the Vaikom Satyagraha because all the members were arrested, and the call for Periyar to come and take over the reins of Vaikom Satyagraha was taken. Later, even Periyar was arrested, so he called Maniammai to come and lead the agitation. So you can see Kerala people requested Periyar to come and to take forward. He was arrested, and then the streets, the issue that snowballed into the Travancore issue, and Travancore government had to pass an order saying that the agitation of Thandai Periyar was very successful. But though it was started by the others, Kelappan and others, but Thandai Periyar's participation led to the passing of what? The streets open to the untouchables to walk on the street. So this victory for Thandai Periyar is also known as the Hero of Vaikom. This title was bestowed on him. Cheramandavi Gurukul, particularly Cheramandavi எங்க இருக்கு? எந்த மாவட்டம்? திருநெல்வேலி. So you can see there is a Cheramandavi Tirunelveli district, a residential school. It is a Gurukulam. So it was managed by V.S. Iyer. This V.S. Iyer was the custodian of this. In this Cheramandevi Gurukul, Periyar found that Brahmin children, non-Brahmin children were given separate food. And Periyar advised Iyer to treat the children alike, not to make them separate. The reason is that Periyar had come to address public meetings, and he created the awareness, and he also மேற்கோள் காட்டி சொன்னாப்ல குருகுல இந்த மாதிரி நடக்குதுன்னு சொல்லிட்டு. And also Periyar raised the point before quitting Congress, in the Congress meetings, that this Congress meeting last school was closed. At that last school was closed. But later Periyar found enna pannapla that these people have got money from Congress committee. And this Congress committee, after his objection also, this Iyer had got second installment also. In that way, they were that is why he got very instrumental. And also the drinking in certain places, he saw that the Brahminical way, after quitting the Congress, he aimed self-respect. Only way is to you respect yourself and then give respect to others. If you don't have any respect for yourself, then how can you respect others? His logic was. So he started to give self-respect to uplift the sulking Dravidians in this caste system. The first conference was held in Chengalpattu in 1929. So WPA Soundar Pandey presided over the conference. In that, you can see that Muvalur Rama Amirdam Ameya participated. And the second conference was held in the home district of Tandai Periyar in Erode, where he propagated vehemently the self-respect movement and also under the chairmanship of M.R. Jayakar. This M.R. Jayakar also plays a role in the roundtable conferences. So Periyar introduced a new rationalist marriage called self-respect marriage from this Erode second conference of self-respect movement. Later, Tandai Periyar's agitation of Hindi. When Tandai Periyar's very dearest friend, Chakravarti Rajagopalachari, when he was the chief minister of, when he was the premier of Madras province, in the Madras presidency, he brought this compulsory Hindi language. And he put this into the secondary schools, and that broke the anti-Hindi agitation. And Justice Party, led by Tandai Periyar and Paneer Selvam, immediately opposed this move. So you can see he got very good, what you called, support from Muvala Ramamardam Narayani and others in the Sitamal. Women also participated and they were all arrested in the anti-Hindi agitation. So you can see that it was Tandai Periyar who gave the call to Tamil Nadu for Tamilians, because this Dravida Nadu concept, which was there in the mind, Jinnah was asking for Pakistan, Periyar was asking for Dravidistan, and Ambedkar was looking both of them. So you can see that he wanted Dravidistan. So he compared with the Western countries where they are small population, but they have such a huge landscape. So he advocated Tandai Periyar's, he said, first was Dravidistan. Then they came down to Tamils for Tamil Nadu. So you can see that Ramaswamy, Tandai Periyar, he's explained that Hindi would not, benefit the people of Tamil Nadu. Rather, it will destroy the culture, the linguistic traditions, and how Sanskrit had destroyed the language Tamil, which split Kannada, Telugu, and later Tulu, Malayalam, and other languages, Kodava languages. Similarly, he compared that Hindi will usurp and they'll destroy the languages. In the language, you have two martyrs, Nadarajan and Tharamuthu. They had died, self-immolated, and died for the cause of language. So later you can see that anti-Hindi agitation day was held in December 1938 under the leadership of Tandai Periyar. During that time in 1940s, Governor Erskine was the governor. He gave a communique withdrawing the Hindi from teaching it compulsory. So Justice Party and Tandai Periyar. So Justice Party is nothing but it is a successor of the 1917 organization called South Indian Liberal Federation, which was founded in 1916-17. And this federation started primarily anti-Brahminical movement. The party's goal was to render social justice to non-Brahminical groups. So they made an assessment that more than 60 to 70% of the government jobs are occupied by just a 2% minority community. Rest 98% of the majority community, they are getting just only 20 to 25% of the government post, which is grave injustice. So in that order, they started this South Indian Liberal Federation, and this South Indian Liberal Federation became a beacon of light. From there, it went into the Mysore region of Madras province. From there, it went into the central India and northern India, this anti-Brahminical movement. Later, Tandai Periyar, who renamed this Justice Party into Dravida Kazhagam in this 1944, Annadurai passed a resolution declaring the Justice Party will now henceforth be called Dravida Kazhagam on 27th August 1944. And this Dravida Kazhagam DK party had attention will be focused on what? Liberation of women, women's emancipation and education, and willing marriage, that too self-respect marriage, widow remarriage, starting of orphanages, and also mercy homes for those people who are elderly, who are dying. For them, they require mercy homes. This was the agenda of the Dravida Kazhagam. In 1949, Annadurai, he made a separate organization called Dravida Munneta Kazhagam. The reason is that this progressive federation of Dravidians was formed because of this differences with Tandai Periyar. Why? Tandai Periyar had married a younger woman who is half of his age. So that reason broke the relationship between two. Later, in 1967, when the first non-Congress government in Tamil Nadu came, it was the trio went and met. Who all met Tandai Periyar? After 1967 victory, Annadurai, Kalaignar, then Navalar. All these are the founders of Dravidian movement. They went and met Tandai Periyar and they dedicated this entire government for him. And they said they would take care of this policies. So you can see Periyar, he wrote in his weekly called Kudiyarasu. And this was put, particularly it was on the self-respect. So Periyar published an English magazine in 1928. It was titled Revolt. Later, you can see in 1930s, Periyar also published a book on the family planning, and he propagated on the restriction of children because he wanted women to be free from the clutches. He said that women are not children-bearing machines. And he also said that marriage is not a sacrament, marriage is a contract. Whenever the woman wants to terminate, she can terminate. So he was one among the feminist leaders who are rationalists as well as a social reformer who spoke on the emancipation of women. So in 1935, in Vidudalai, he also spoke about the Periyar titled about the subjugation of women in Pen Yen Adime Anal. Why did women become a slave? So in this way, Periyar was able to advocate the women's issues and also fight for their emancipation. So you can see the Periyar was one among the tallest leaders. He was a militant atheist who questioned the traditions, meaningless rituals. And you can see that he had the audacity to even break the idols of the Hindu gods. So his last speech was on December 19, 1973, before he could pass. He delivered in Tyagaraja T Nagar. Periyar delivered his last speech. When he died, you can see there was large scale pouring of outcry and the reverence to Tandai Periyar and for his social justice. Prior to his death in 1970s only, UNESCO honored him with the title UNESCO organization. They called him the Socrates of Southeast Asia, and UNESCO declared Tandai Periyar as what? The prophet of the new age, the father of social reform movement, and the arch enemy of ignorance, superstitious, and meaningless customs. In this way, Tandai Periyar's contribution was so great, and his movement created a new awakening. Today, the reservation benefits all over India. All should be credited to the fathers of the South Indian Liberation Federation and Justice Party and TK. So this is enough for Tandai Periyar. இன்னும் notes இருக்கு, அது வேணா உங்களுக்கு நான் இதுல அனுப்பும் போது பிரின்சிபலுக்கு அனுப்பும் அனுப்பிவிடுறேன். So Narayana Guru and Sri Reganma சரி போயிட்டு வாங்க. So, எப்படி இருக்கீங்க? நல்லா இருக்கேன், நல்லா இருக்கேன். கிளாஸ்ல இருக்கேன். நம்ம கிறிஸ்டியன் ஜஸ்ட் இப்போ பிரேக் கொடுத்துருக்கேன். சொல்லுங்க. ஆமாம், கிளாஸ் கிறிஸ்டியன் ஸ்டேட். சொல்லுங்க. பெங்களூர் வந்தீங்க. நீங்க கூப்பிட்டீங்க. அப்போ பேரண்ட்ஸ்ல இருந்து கிளாஸ் சாப்பிட்டீங்க. என்ன கிளாஸ் அவன் பிறந்த பொழுது வந்து பார்த்தது இங்க ஹைதராபாத்ல. அவ்வளவுதான். எவ்வளவு வருஷம் ஆயிடுச்சு பாருங்க, 7 வருஷம் அப்படி ஓடி போயிடுச்சு. சரி, காசு இங்க இருக்கு. நாளைக்கு முடிச்சு பார்க்கல அந்த இல்ல, ஒரு ரொம்ப ஞாபகம் இருக்கு. நம்ம லாஸ்ட் முன்னாடி குவாட்டியில வந்து நம்ம இதுல ஐ கார்டிஸ் எல்லாம் போட்டுக்கிட்டு கிளாஸ் அதெல்லாம் ஞாபகம் இருக்கு. அதான் ஜஸ்ட் மெமரிஸ் தான் இருக்கு. நான் எங்க கொஞ்ச நாள் எங்க எங்க கிளாஸ் எடுத்தேன். அங்க ஒரு ராஜேஸ்வரி நான் நைட் வந்து வந்துட்டாங்க ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸ் எல்லாம். சரி சரி. என்ன கொடுத்தாங்க ஸ்நாக்ஸ்? எதுங்க ருச்சி கிழங்கா? வடக்கு இடத்துல கொஞ்ச நேரம் சொல்றேன் சீக்கிரம். 20 நிமிஷம் ஆச்சு. ஒரு நாள் அடிஷனலா ஒரு நாள் எல்லாம் ஒரு சொன்னாரு. என்ன பண்றேன் நான் பிடிக்கலன்னா டியூஸ்டேல இருந்து ஆன்லைன் இன்னொரு அகாடமி ஏன்னா உங்களுக்கு லிங்க் நான் பண்ணி பேசிக்கிறேன். அவனுக்கு கொடுக்க முடியாது. நான் கேட்டேன் நான் ஏன்னா எனக்கு தெரியவில்லை எவ்வளவு நேரம் எடுக்கணும் டைமிங்ஸ் நான் சொன்னேன். இதெல்லாம் இல்லை இவதான் அலாட் பண்ணிட்டேன். எனக்கு அவ்வளோதான் ஏதாச்சும் நம்ம வேலை பிடிக்கலன்னா ஒரு ஆன்லைன் நான் பண்ற அகாடமி கிடைக்கிட்ட உங்களுக்கு நான் எவ்வளவு முடிக்க முடியுதோ நான் முடிச்சுக்கிறேன். நான் இப்போ ப்ரெசென்ட் பிரைவேட் அது ஏன்னா நான் ஒரு சோஷியல் ரிக்வயர்மெண்ட் தான் கொஞ்சம் கொஞ்சம் எடுக்கிறேன். ஆல்மோஸ்ட் எல்லா சோஷியல் ரிக்வயர்மெண்ட்ஸும் இல்லை நான் ட்ரெயின் புக் பண்ணிட்டேன். எவ்வளவு முடிக்க முடியுமோ முடிச்சிருக்கேன். பண்றது எப்படியும் நான் இன்னொரு அகாடமி 5 நிமிஷம் பிரேக்னு சொன்னா நீங்க 20 நிமிஷம் நியாயமாயிட்டு 20 நிமிஷம் போங்க. இது கவர் தான் அனுப்ப Okay, we'll start. Okay, Narayana Guru. So Narayana Guru and SNDP, Sri Narayana Guru Dharma Paripadan. So among the tallest social reformers of Kerala was Sri Narayana Guru Swami. So he started Sri Narayana Dharma Paripadan. For what reason? He was fighting the caste inequalities and injustice, particular untouchability of the downtrodden people, particularly the Tiyas, Iravas, and other communities. Narayana Guru had criticized Gandhi and Congress because of their politics, where Congress was dominated by the upper caste Hindus, Brahmins, and Gandhiji was not taking a stand on particularly on the oppressed classes. So he criticized the politics of Gandhi, particularly with respect to the emancipation of oppressed classes and their rights, and also the right for self-determination. So Narayana Guru took over the anti-Brahminical stand and fought with iron hand the caste injustice, particularly the Nambudri Brahmins and the high caste Nayars and the Iyer Brahmin communities, where they have unleashed the caste issues in Kerala. So he simplified rituals. He said Brahmin priestless rituals similar to Tandai Periyar. And also he simplified the marriage functions and rituals out to very simple rituals with birth, death, and the marriage. So he wanted to bring a casteless society and he chided the caste prejudices and he said that caste differences are very superficial. And he gave the slogan, one religion, one caste, one God for mankind. So you can see Jyotiba Phule. Already we have seen Jyotiba Phule founded the Satyasodak Samaj along with his wife Savitribai Phule. They opened what? Schools for girls in Pune. And prior to him taking up the excuse me. So Jyotiba Phule, he hails from a Mali caste and he used to sell flowers for his livelihood. And he was against Congress. He accused, Jyotiba Phule also accused Congress for not taking the issues which is concerning the depressed class people and also the lower caste people. And also, he also accused that Congress is dominated by the Brahmins. Similarly, Tandai Periyar also accused it's a Brahmin party. So you can see all the lower caste leaders had kept the criticism of Congress that they are catering to the needs of only the upper caste people. So Jyotiba Phule, when he was elected to the Pune Municipal Council Committee, he was able to put forth his demands and also he was able to bring in a lot of changes. Later, in 1888, people bestowed the title of Mahatma on him. Prior to Gandhi, who was the first person to get the title Mahatma. It was Jyotiba Phule. And he was also particularly Gulamagiri. In his book, he spoke on the untouchability and the caste prejudices which is existing in the central part of the country, in the Bombay Marathwada region. So he also was a very big writer. He also wrote on Ishara, Life of Shivaji, and Dharma, Tritiya, Ratya, Ratna. It is very important. In UPSC, they have asked the works of Satya Sodak Samaj and Jyotiba Phule. Dharma, Tritiya, Ratya, Ratna is one among the important works of Jyotiba Phule. So you can see caste-based exploitation. Jyotiba Phule started a movement against the anti-Brahminical, the Brahminical domination of Hindu society. And on his footsteps, you can see Baba Sahib Ambedkar brings in All India Scheduled Caste Federation in 1942 AD. Even in 1900s, the Raja of Kolhapur, he also encouraged the non-Brahminical movement. Later, in 1920s, we saw Tandai Periyar's South India's self-respect movement and Justice Party had done a lot of work towards the emancipation of the oppressed classes and the oppressed classes peoples. So they brought in a new kind of politics in opposing the Brahminical agenda of the major political parties. Narayana Guru gave the call, one religion, one caste, one God for mankind. What was Anna's call? One God and one caste for mankind. Yar Kurtudu Ondrai Kulam, Ondrai Devan is the slogan of Tandai Periyar. Anna Durai, prior to Anna, Sri Narayana Guru gave the call, one religion, one caste, and one God for mankind. So Jyotiba Phule's Satya Sodak Samaj had done lot of work in this regard in the anti-Brahminical stand prior to Tandai Periyar. So Tandai Periyar Periyar is preceded by Jyotiba Phule. In his Sarvajanik Satya Dharma and Gulamagiri extensively wrote the anti-Brahminical writings and how the Brahmins have done great injustice to the people of India, bringing the discriminative Brahminical system. Gopala Krishna Gokhale, he also set up the Indian Society to train missionaries, and this was national service. And this was against the domination of Christian religious missionaries. He wanted to give a counter narrative. Later, we saw Narayana Malhar Joshi. He started Social Service League in Bombay. Already we have seen those social reformers. In Brahmji Malabari, he started 1885, and particularly he started Seva Sadhan to take care of the discarded, exploited women in the society. Prior to that, Radhakant Deb, he started in 1830 Dharma Sabha in opposing the abolition of sati and maintaining status quo in religious matters. This was revivalist movement, not reformist. He opposed abolition of sati, Lord William Bentinck's 1829 Act. And he said government should not interfere into the religious matters which is pertaining to the society. B.R. Ambedkar. So he started an organization in Bombay called Bahishkrit Hitkarni Sabha. Why? It was for the cause of untouchables. He organized the Satyagraha for the entry of untouchables into the Hindu temples and also to draw water from the public taps, because during that time, you can see that Brahminical domination was high. எல்லாம் பாத்தீங்க 90% of social reformers எந்த இடத்துல வந்தாங்க சொல்லுங்க? பெங்கால் or மராத்வாடா, பாம்பே ரீஜன், மகாராஷ்டிரா. எதற்காக மகாராஷ்டிரா? சிட்பவன் பிராமின்ஸ் அவ்வளவு வன்கொடுமையை ஆரம்பிச்சாங்க. 105 வருஷம் ஆண்டாங்க பேஷ்வாஸ். அந்த 105 வருஷத்துல எக்ஸ்ட்ரீம் ஃபார்ம் ஆஃப் காஸ்ட் பேஸ்ட் எக்ஸ்ப்ளாய்டேஷன், அவங்க வன்கொடுமையை, சாதி வன்கொடுமையை அவங்க அதிகமா செஞ்சது இந்த இடத்துல தான். அதனால தான் இந்த மகர் காஸ்ட் அவங்கள இந்த தேர்ட் வார்ல அவங்கள பீரோ கோரேகான்ல ஃபெரோஷியஸா அடிச்சது அது ஒரு காரணம். அந்த வெறியில அடிச்சாங்க அப்பர் காஸ்ட் பண்ண இன்ஜஸ்டிஸ். ஏன்னா இந்த மார் காஸ்ட் இருக்காங்க இல்லையா, அவங்களுக்கு பின்னாடி ஆண்கள் மேலுடை அணியக்கூடாது, ஒரு இடுப்புல தான் கச்சை கட்டணும் அவங்க. ஆனா அவங்க ஆண்கள் ஆகட்டும் பெண்கள் ஆகட்டும் அவங்க இடுப்புல இருந்து இது கீழே நிலம் தொடர மாதிரி பெரிய தொடுப்பத்தை கட்டிட்டு போகணும். ஏன் தெரியுங்களா? அவங்க நடக்கிற பாதையில கூட அந்த அச்சு இருக்கக்கூடாது இந்த ரோட்லன்னு சொல்லிட்டு. ஸோ இந்த மாதிரி கொடுமையெல்லாம் நடத்தி நடத்தி அதாவது அவங்க செருப்பு தூக்கி தலையில வச்சுக்கணும். அவங்க வந்து நான் தீண்டாதவன் தீண்டப்பட்டவன் சொல்லி அப்படி சொல்லி அவங்க ஒதுக்கப்பட்டு மக்கள்கிட்ட அவங்க ஓசை எழுப்பணும். Once they raise an alarm, people will go. So in this way, you can see the caste was very high. Even when Swami Vivekananda went to the South Tamil Nadu, he chided away. Yes or no? உங்களுக்கு நீ சபிக்கப்பட்ட மக்கள்னு சொல்லியே அவரு திட்டிட்டு போறாப்ல. Because of the injustice of caste system in the Travancore region. அந்த Travancore regionல நீ சேர்த்தலையில நாகேலி இந்த ஸ்டோரி சொன்னா உங்களுக்கு மார்பை வெட்டி இல்லையா. ஸோ என்னன்னா சேர்த்தலை எங்க இருக்கு இப்போ? ஆழப்புழா டிஸ்ட்ரிக்ட்ல இந்த சேர்த்தலை தான் இப்போ அவங்க சேர்த்தலான்னு மாத்திட்டாங்க. மலையாளம் இருக்குது, இந்த தமிழே இருக்கக்கூடாதுன்னு. ஆனா உண்மையான நீங்க ரயில்வே ஸ்டேஷன் பழைய இதெல்லாம் எடுத்து பாத்தீங்கன்னா அது பேர் சேர்த்தலை. ஏன்னா ஒரு முனிவர் சேர்த்துல கண்ணை வச்சு அவருடைய இது செஞ்சார், தவம் செஞ்சார். அதனால அந்த இடத்துல சேரும் தலையும் கலந்த இடத்துல அவரு தவம் பண்ணதுனால அந்த இடம் பேர் சேர்த்தலையும் மாறுச்சு. சேர்த்தலா இப்ப இருக்கிற இடத்துல ஆழப்புழா ஆலப்பி டிஸ்ட்ரிக்ட்ல நாகேலின்னு ஒரு பெண்மணி. அவங்க அந்த காலத்துல எப்படின்னா இந்த திருப்பாங்கூர் சமஸ்தானத்துல எக்ஸப்ட் ஃபார் தி ரூலிங் கிளாஸ் அண்ட் பிராமின்ஸ் ஆல் விமன் ஷுட் பி பேர் பிரெஸ்டட். துணியை மறிச்ச மார்பை அவங்க இது மூடக்கூடாது. மூடினீங்கன்னா அடி அதிகமா, நிறைய வன்கொடுமைங்க, நிறைய ஹை காஸ்ட் நாயர் விமன் அகேன்ஸ்டா பிராமின்ஸ் நிறைய அதிகமா செஞ்சிருக்காங்க. நிறைய அசிங்கம்லாம் இருக்கு, அதெல்லாம் நான் இந்த பேசுறோம்ல. ஸோ யூ கேன் சி நாகேலியோட விஷயம்னா women they have to pay a breast tax not to cover. Since women had breast, how beautiful it is, how இது இருக்கு சைஸ் இருக்குன்னா அதுக்கு ஒரு டெம்ப்ளேட் பண்ணி வச்சிருக்காங்க. அதை போய் பிரஸ்ட்ல வச்சுட்டு இந்த சைஸ் இருக்கா, இது இருக்கா, இதுக்கு இவ்வளவு விலை, இவ்வளவு பெருசா இருக்கா, இந்த காலம் இருக்கா, இதுக்கு இவ்வளவு விலைன்னு சொல்லி அவங்க டாக்ஸ போடுறாங்க. இது எவ்வளவு கொடுமை. நாட் டு கவர் இட், பட் தே பொசஸ் பிரஸ்ட் பிகாஸ் ஆஃப் தட். ஒரு ஆப்ஜெக்டா அவங்க பார்த்தாங்க, செக்ஷுவல் ஆப்ஜெக்டா அப்ரெஸ் பண்ணாங்க. அப்போ தே வெண்ட். ஸோ புவர் பீப்புள் தே வர் நாட் ஏபிள் டு பே திஸ். இவங்க ஒரு அட்மினிஸ்ட்ரேட்டிவ் இனோவேஷன் சொல்லலாம் இதெல்லாமே திருவாங்கூர் சமஸ்தானத்துல Travancore kingdom. So in Travancore kingdom they brought this. So they went to particular Nageli in our Penmani Chertalaikla. So she got fed up with this. They did not have much money to pay, and she said, how long will women be subjugated? How long will be they'll be humiliated? How long they will be shying away from people, from the vengeful eyes of women lusting on their breasts? So எப்படி அவங்க யாருன்னா ஒருத்தர் மார்பை துணி போட்டா women will be raped, gang raped, and all those things were there, or they will be killed, they will be punished, they will be made naked to run. இந்த மாதிரி வன்கொடுமை நடந்த நாடுதான் திருவாங்கூர் சமஸ்தானம். So when soldiers went to along with the tax collector to collect, she got really furious and she chopped both their breasts and he gave them, you go and give it to your king, then let him take it. So அவங்க பண்ண அந்த தியாகம் நாகேலி அம்மா அவங்க இறந்து போயிட்டாங்க. That shook the entire Travancore kingdom. திருவாங்கூர் சமஸ்தானத்தை ஆட்டிடுச்சு, மக்களுடைய கோவத்துக்கு தாச்சு. அப்பதான் இந்த பிரஸ்ட் டாக்ஸ் திரும்ப பெறாங்க. சோ இப்ப யோசிங்க, இப்ப எவ்வளவு வன்கொடுமை. அது மட்டும் இருந்துச்சா? அது மட்டும் இல்லையே. ஈவன் 100 years முன்னாடி women were not led to cover their upper part of body. Yes or no? திருவாங்கூர்ல என்ன நடந்துச்சு? இப்ப இருக்க கன்னியாகுமரியில மேஜர் பகுதி வந்து இவங்க தான் இருந்துச்சு Travancore kingdomல. அது நடந்துச்சு தானே வன்கொடுமை, சாதி வன்கொடுமை தானே அது. So you can see untouchables were put to such humiliation. இதுக்கு முன்னாடி இல்ல, இது ஆரியன் கொண்டு வந்த இது. நீங்க சங்க காலத்துல பாடல்கள் எடுத்து பாருங்க, பெண்களுக்கு சம உரிமை உண்டுச்சு. They were respected. But now this Brahminical system of segregation of caste, they not only subjugated the people, even subjugation of women started because they are the most vulnerable sections. So untouchables were the ones who affected the most. So that is why Ambedkar brings Bahishkrit Hitkarni Sabha to voice out for untouchables, to bring progress to them. And he organized them, temple entry movements. Untouchables were not even getting opportunity to walk on the streets, draw water from common, what you called water sources of pond, river, and the wells. They have to go 7 to 8 kilometers away from the village and draw water and come. So these things affected the people at large. That is why he organized. And when he was called for the roundtable conference, he attended. So Ambedkar attended all the three RTCs. மூணு ஆர்டிசியும் அவர் அட்டென்ட் பண்றாப்புல. அதுல ஃபைனலா communal award கிடைக்குது. Ramsay McDonald gives them separate electorate for depressed classes. How Congress accepted separate communal electorate for Muslims in 1916 Lucknow Pact. Ambedkar demanded separate, but it was Gandhi who played politics. He said, no, you cannot separate, you cannot divide the Hindu community. It was Gandhi's major problem. And Ambedkar was vehement that he did not want the Congress to form the government and he did not want the Britishers to go away. He said that let Britishers live for another 50 years. By that time, he will ensure that we will get justice and that oppressed classes will get 100% justice. So he wanted the British rule to continue, Ambedkar. So to protect the depressed classes. So he was not in the favor of independence, India gaining independence from the British. So in 1942, he formed this All India Scheduled Caste Federation. Finally, he embraced Buddhism on Buddha Purnima Day on 1954. So prior to that, Ambedkar was what? He was the Bombay Legislative Council. He was there. Later, he had opened this Vaishnav Hitkarni Sabha in 1924-25 for the voicing the improvement of depressed classes. He wrote in a fortnightly in Marathi called Bahishkrit Bharat Janata, a weekly, and Samaja Samata Sangha to preach social equality. Later, he also started a society for whom? For the untouchables, for their education purpose. He started People's Education Society for the untouchables in 1945. In the sentence, UPSC question last 10 years. Later, Ambedkar was elected to the Legislative Council of Bombay and he attended all the RTCs. And finally, he got communal award. Gandhiji protested. To safeguard his life, he went to Yerwada jail and he made peace. And finally, the agreement was made for giving depressed classes reservation based on what we call elections. So All India Federal Caste Federation was formed in 1942. He served in the Governor General's Executive Council as a member for Labour, and he played a very prominent role as the chairman of the drafting committee, and he earned the name as father of Indian Constitution. So peasant and tribal movements. Why did peasant and tribal movements start in India? What was the purpose? Enna karanathukaga? Huh? Okay, you're saying land revenue system. Okay, good, land revenue. Okay. Where? Okay, so they changed the agrarian policy. That is from food crops to Commercial crops. Okay. That means Indian economy to colonial economy. Okay. What else? Exploitation. Who exploited? Or exploitation of the planters or landlords. Okay. Okay. Forest loss. Okay. Why forest loss? சொல்லுங்க பேசுங்க. Okay. So they forced tribals to come to settled agriculture. Earlier they were doing shifting. So settled agriculture. Okay. New types of laws which is alien to tribals. New system of administration. What is the new system of administration? They brought district collectors, courts, police station. Anything else? What made peasants rise? Who came? What type of systems? வட்டிக்கு வாங்குறாங்களே யாரு? Particularly the Marwadis, the Mewaris. Mewaris are Rajasthanis. The Marwaris, Gujarat. Who are there? Moneylenders. Moneylenders came. Who also came? Contractors. Then middlemen. Then middlemen came. Who came? Traders. Then anything else? Anything else? Government today in apathy. Government brought new administrative system. What led the cumulative effects of revolt of 1857? First reason, cumulative effect reason enough. Expansionist policies. Correct. Idhilli expansion enna pannanga? Expansionist policy. Then revenue policy solito yerkanve. Land revenue policy. Third one. Administrative innovation. Yes or no? So administrative innovation is also one among the reasons. Okay. So we can add some more also, but these are the major things we have brainstormed. So these led to the peasant and tribal revolts. We'll just quickly go into it. So peasant movements had varied nature. You can see prior to the commencement of mass movement of freedom struggle. When did mass movement of freedom struggle start? When it start? Only in 1930s, Gandhian era. Gandhian era, you'll find mass movements. So prior to that, these peasant movements were what? Localized, and it was based on religion, caste, and social consciousness. All these were fought. Only national consciousness, that Indian consciousness came only during Gandhian era. Prior to that, India did not have the idea of nation or nationhood or Indianness. It was Gandhi who was very instrumental in raising this consciousness. Later, you can see that these peasant revolt, which came as a revivalist movement, started to change its character, and it became what? Secular nature. All Hindu and Muslims and Christians all joined together and fought the common oppressor, the planters and the big landlords, zamindars, moneylenders, they fought. So you can see that Kisan Sabha and Congress Socialist Party and even the Congress Party gave support, particularly to the movement called Rampa Rebellion, Alluri Sitaramma Raju and others. Everybody got in the national movement in 1920s. It got the Congress Party's support, which became national level attention. So first among what he called uprising in India was the Moplar uprising or Mapillai. What do you mean by Mapillai? Mapillai means what? இல்ல நான் கேக்குறது லிட்டரலா மாப்பிள்ளைன்ற தமிழ் வார்த்தைக்கு என்ன அர்த்தம் சொல் son-in-law மருமகன். So these why they are called as mapillars? Why? Because there's a community which formed because of thousands of years of interaction between the Arab traders and the southern coast of India, particularly in the Kerala coast. அதிகமான வணிகம் செஞ்சதுனால traders, particularly they accepted the Islamic religion. Islamic religionல polygamy இருக்கு. அதாவது they are a man is entitled legally to have 4 wives with the consent of the wives. So you can see that with the consent of the eldest wife, we can have 3 more. So in this, that these Arabs also started to have their families here, and these people brought a lot of wealth. So the prospective brides who are there, who wanted to were willing to marry the grooms because of the wealth which they brought, and also stability in family, and also livelihood, and there's a improvement in the social and marriage conditions of women. So these mapillars were once a very flourishing community. They were landowning community. They were having good trading. But after the arrival of Portuguese in southern coast, it changed the issue. What it changed? Portuguese did not want it. They brought that the religious mindset. Why? 1453, Constantinople was taken over by the Islamic Turkish people. In 50 years, they found out direct sea route to India. And after that, the Portuguese also was in anti-Muslim agenda in them, because the Byzantine Eastern Catholic Empire was taken over. So that was the biggest drawback. That is why they brought that agenda here and implemented. Subjugation of mapillars happened. After that, when Tipu Sultan came to power in 1780s to 1799, mapillars had a very good standing. Since he was an Islamic ruler, the Mapillar region comes under the region of Mysore state, where they had 2 important ports, that is the port of Kannanur and port of Calicut. It was under the Mapillars, and Mapillars enjoyed a very good, situation. The situation improved. But once death of Tipu Sultan, what happened? Mapillars come under the clutches of the British rule. So British rule, what they do, they have brought in new land revenue policy. They took away the lands and gave to this high caste Nambudris, Brahmins, and the high caste Nayar community. So once upon a time, landowning community now become landless laborers working in the same field of theirs, which they had owned and enjoyed for generations together. So these landless laborers were on the mercy of the landlords. When landlords started to interfere into day-to-day activities, they also brought in a lot of injustice to the mapillars. They were not paying them well. They were not feeding them well. They were trying to extract more revenue, more share. And all the prejudices started. 22 uprisings took place in 18 years from 1836 to 1854. This Mopla rebellion or uprising is what? It is a 100-year struggle from 19th century to 20th century. So in the first half of 19th century, you can see nearly 22 uprisings took place, and certain times it went violent. And you can see that mapillars were arrested, humiliated, and these mapillars were doing small jobs they were rowing the boats, going to fish, the fishermen catching the fishes in the sea, and they're working as farm laborers. So they were denied basic rights, and also injustice were unleashed. So these people started to voice out their concerns. So there was large-scale oppression by the dominant landowning community, upper caste and British. They joined together and they crushed these people. So this also erupted in 1920s when Mopla uprising got involved with Caliphate movement, non-cooperation movement. It became very violent. That time, the rise of communism in India became very high because of the right-wing Hindu Mahasabha and others all came, they fueled, and that led to the killing of Hindus in the hands of Muslims, and also Muslims were killed mercilessly by the upper caste Nambudris and Nayars. So it brought lot of what you call ill will and hatred towards the communities. So next peasant uprising was, you can see that during the 20th century, the bodies were hoarded into goods wagons and they were dropped such a way they were killed mercilessly by the upper caste Hindus with the help of British. So Moplar rebellions, these Mopilas were who? Muslim cultivating tenants and their landless laborers, fishermen of the Malabar region of Kerala. The British occupation after the death of Tipu Sultan, you can see that new landlords and atrocities of new laws and landlords, they led to the revolt from 1836 onwards. And finally, it culminated into what? Into large-scale violence. It got combined with the Khilafat movement and what we call the non-cooperation movement against the British. Farazi movement. So this Farazi movement, peasant movement, started in 1838 to 1848 in East Bengal. So this was the first ever civil disobedience movement, which is that first ever civil disobedience movement, Farazi movement, because they did not pay tax to the British government. And it was led by Shariatullah Khan and Dadu Mian. First civil disobedience, CDM in India prior to Gandhian era was no tax campaign. They disobedient all the laws. They did not pay tax. So Farazi movement had a band of volunteers who had heroically fought against the indigo planters and the zamindars, and that was an armed rebellion. So it brought all the cultivators of Bengal, Hindu, Muslim, Christians, everybody joined together, and they fought against the tyranny and illegal extractions by the high caste Brahmins and other landlords who were controlling. There was a situation that landlords used to kill mercilessly the workers, but no action was taken against them because the court, the judiciary, the police system all favored only the rich, and poor did not get any justice. So Wahhabi movement. This Wahhabi movement started in northern part of the country in 1830s to 1860s. So it was a violent rebellion. This Wahhabi was a revivalist Islamic movement because Wahhabis were very much influenced by the Abdul Wahhab, the prophet, who is a saint in Arabia, and also the Delhi saint, Shah Waliullah, saint in Delhi in 1700s, early 1700s. And this Abdul Wahhab of Arabia and Shah Waliullah, their lives, their teachings, all attracted whom? Syed Ahmad Barelvi of Rebelry Army. So they wanted to bring what? The purity of Islamic religion. They say that Islam religion has become what? It has been corrupted. And moreover, this movement, primarily religious, it started to see as a class struggle. Why? Because it slowly saw the oppressor, the foreign person, they gave them jihad. Who was a foreign colonizer? British. So it became a class struggle where, irrespective of any communal tension, Christians or Hindus or Muslims all joined together. They fought, they vented their ire against the landlords. So Indigo revolts, peasant revolt of 1859 to 1860. What were the causes of the Indigo revolt? So indigo was one among the important cash crops which British made Indians forcefully cultivated. So when after the Battle of Plassey, you can see that British saw the wealth of the province of Bengal. British saw that Bengal province was so rich. It had a perennial source of water, fertile soil, labor was there, and they started to change the Indian economy into colonial economy, where they changed from food crops, they forced the people to planters, farmers to grow indigo, because indigo had a worldwide demand, and similar to the cotton, fabric, and other goods, opium, salt, indigo is also getting. So this natural dye, they were able to make very good patterns, and they were having some kind of a dye in Europe, but that dye, which is also natural, is not giving that bright blue color, Neil. That bright blue color, people were attracted to the bright blue color, and they used to use this dye for coloring various shades of blue, and that was very profitable, and it was a natural dye. So indigo started to be planted in large scale from 1777, when who took the reign? Warren Hastings or William Bentinck? Warren Hastings, because Warren Hastings abolished the dual system of governance in 1772. Later, in administrative reforms, he wanted to plantation for more revenue. British forced Indians to plant. So it was very commercially profitable for the blue dye, which was made from this indigo, and large parts of Burdwan, Bankura, Birbhum, Murshidabad in the Bengal province, they started to grow, and now Europeans had a monopoly. So once European had monopoly, they forced Indians, European foreign planters, to harvest Neil, and also to achieve that, they also started to what you call oppress the farmers. So Indigo Revolt started in 1859 to 60, after the revolt of 1857. So the leaders who gave was Digambar Viswas and Vishnu Viswas. So they played an important role in the Indigo revolts. Harish Chandra Mukherjee, he was the editor of the paper called Hindu Patriot. Dinabandhu Mitra, Michael Madhusudan Dutta. So all these people, they played a prominent role, and because of their agitation and the leaders, Government of India, they passed an act called Commission called Indigo Commission, and they tried to remove some of the prejudices of the indigo cultivation. Fakir and Sannyasi rebellions. So Fakir and Sannyasi rebellion started in 1770s and it went on for 50 years till 1820s. Why did Fakir and Sannyasi rebellions start? Why? What reason? The reason is that you can see when Britishers took control of the Bengal province in 1757, they tried to increase. Who was the Nawab appointed in 1757? Mir Jafar. Mir Jafar gave how much of war indemnity? 1.77 crore. Then he gave the provinces of Nadia, Burdwan and all, and 24 Parganas region became Clive's personal Jagir. And what did British do? They choked Jafar to pay more and more revenue. Jafar also put that burden onus on the peasants, and they started to exploit the peasants. So during this time, when Bengal was forced to go into commercial, food crop shortage came. Even in food crop shortage, they shifted all the grains out of India. So what happened? People did not have to eat. So many people died of hunger and poverty, and due to pestilence and due to the due to disease. So the fakirs and sannyasis, they all joined together, and they could not bear the injustice meted out to people. And also, British started to put unjust laws. Particularly, they put laws which restricted people to go to religious places to worship God, or people cannot go to shrines or go to dargahs to worship their God. So, fakir, who are the Muslim wandering bards, these wandering bards or Muslim religious mendicants all joined together. They brought chapatis. The historians say, some say, but there is no evidence. But these sannyasis and the fakirs, sannyasis are the monks of the Hindu community. So two important leaders who took part, who supported were Bhavani Pathak and Devi Chaudhrani. So they were the people who supported this movement and they were attacked by the English. And finally, English were able to do the combing operations and bring this violent revolt to a standstill. So now inge stop பண்ற நாளைக்கு morning will continue this social religious the peasant revolts and then we'll go into the national movement with pre-Congress associations, Congress, moderate phase, extremist phase, revolutionary terrorism, Gandhian era. Suppose என்னால் நாளைக்கு முடிக்க முடியலன்னா what we will do is that I will be taking from Tuesday onwards online for another academy. Evenings பண்ணுவேன். I'll give you the link. You also participate. அதில் முடிக்கும் பொழுது I'll also will discuss the questions, UPSC questions, previous year questions and I discuss பண்றேன். Within 5 to 6 days or 5 days, because I cannot take long sessions. I'll be handling maximum 2 to 2.5 hours. And அவ்வளவுதான் ஆன்லைன் எடுக்க முடியும். Concentration அவ்வளவுதான் பண்ண முடியும். So I can finish in another few days. Suppose நான் முடிக்க முடியல நாளைக்கு அது உங்களுக்கு எடுத்து கொடுத்துருங்க. Is that okay? So thank you. So see you tomorrow.